Hello and welcome back to Battlefront News. Today I have two reasonably large pieces of news for you and I'll try to make it as quick as possible. But before that, I just want to quickly mention that I recently passed 1,500 subscribers, another milestone for my channel. And to celebrate this milestone, I will be hosting a Battlefront game night as I mentioned in previous videos. More details on this are to follow in a video which will outline the game night and finalise the details. Now on to the news. Our first piece of news comes from an interview between Polygon and Patrick Soderlund, speaking about why second screen gaming has become more important to EA. Firstly, Soderlund said, due to consumers being more capable than ever of multitasking and using social media to make decisions, people are expecting more from day-to-day interactions which translate over into their gaming experiences. According to Soderlund, this is why EA is working hard to incorporate social and second screen options into its games. Some more quotes from Soderlund reveal more about second screen gaming and EA's plans. Soderlund says, "We've been on that train for a while. I can't say we've been perfect, but we've done a lot. Like the whole idea of autolog in Need for Speed was because of a behavioural change in consumer minds. If you look at how the smartphone affected your life, how Facebook affected your life. I can't watch TV without using a smartphone 5 times during a movie. It's ridiculous, but that's what it is and everyone does that." Another quote states, "The social revolution we've seen because of technology and services like Facebook and Twitter and those kind of things has changed the way games are played and will continue to have an impact on how we will design games from the get-go." So this probably means that EA games are going to have an increasingly interactive experience, especially with social media. Now in the same interview, Soderlund goes on to confirm a few things about Battlefront, starting with, "Today this is one of the first things our game guys design when they're looking at Star Wars Battlefront, which is going through design right now. One of the first things we talked about is these things, that tells you it's the minds of the people who make the games. What we are seeing is the start of it, and it's just going to take a bigger part of games." So this is Soderlund confirming that Battlefront is in the design stages of development. They're creating the ideas, they're creating the concept, but it hasn't reached any actual playable alpha yet. He's also confirming that it's going to have interactivity with functions outside of the game, such as social media and networking. Patrick Soderlund then goes on to talk about second screen gaming in EA's new games, saying, "As long as I'm doing what I'm doing and talking with teams and approving the designs, I'm going to force them to at least try to think about it as at least a meaningful extension to the game." So this probably means that Battlefront will have some form of second screen gaming implemented, perhaps similar to Battlefield's Commander Mode. I do have more news on Commander Mode and how it will be implemented in Battlefield and possibly Battlefront due to the development teams being the same. However, I will be saving that news for a later video as it's quite extensive and could take a while to analyse. Now moving on to our second piece of news. Speaking to official Xbox magazine, Lars Discusses, the creative director of DICE, spoke about why he is interested in Titanfall's cloud-powered troop mechanic. A quote from him states, "It was quite, in our world, unorthodox to develop a small AI drone that you could have with you in the battlefield. You could have it as a battle upgrade, floating over you and shooting enemies. And we've been talking about being able to place AI paratroopers in there on the battle." So this shows that DICE have considered adding bots into their games and that paratroopers were one of the considered methods of doing so. When talking about bots being added to Battlefield, Lars goes on to say, "It's not something we have built for Battlefield 4. With 64 players, we feel that there's more than enough in our world. In a co-op experience, AI support is super cool. But in multiplayer, we've had feedback that people prefer dying from real human bullets rather than at the hands of an AI that's too accurate or something. It just feels more fair if I get killed by a human player." So this might mean that if Battlefront has 64 players, we might not see bots make it into the release version. However, I'm still hopeful that this only pertains to Battlefield. Lars finished by saying, "So I'm not saying that we're not going to do it in the future. I see potential in it, but based on the feedback we've had and the huge number of players we already have on the battlefield, we've stayed away from it for now." He says, "For the moment, we're moving ahead with our traditional setup. But as always, whatever is best for the game, whatever is best for the customer, we will look into it sooner or later. And with the power of Frostbite and the power of multiple teams working within EA on Frostbite, we are constantly looking into new possibilities. So it's definitely interesting. We'll see what happens down the road." So this means that for the moment, EA will be moving ahead with its traditional setup for games where all of the units in a match are real players, but is still constantly looking into possibilities of using bots in its future games. Lars even went to say that it is definitely interesting and is looking to see what will happen in the future. So hopefully Battlefront, releasing in summer 2015, will have the inclusion of bots. I'm afraid that's all the news for today. Coming up, I have a video detailing what I will be doing to celebrate reaching 1,500 subscribers, including the dates and time zones for the game night. That's all for today. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next update.